Today in the course on using electronic assessment tools on the Blackboard learning management system, which is being offered by Qasim University through the Deanship of E-Learning and Distance Education. As you can see, God willing, today's session will be 3 hours long, and we should finish the meeting by the time of Maghrib prayer with God's permission. So, as you can see, these are the topics we'll be working on first. I just want to make sure that the screen is showing up clearly for you all. Please confirm that the screen is clear. All right, thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you. May God reward you, Damien. Today we will cover the topics. Here are the assessment tools. Using the Blackboard system, you will complete an assignment, research project, task, or activity. You will work with the Blackboard system. We will discuss test creation. When dealing with the Blackboard system, you'll complete an assignment. In English, it's often called an assignment. You'll work with the Blackboard system handling assignments and tests. We also have a forum or discussion board, and we'll discuss test creation in detail. Creating tests should be straightforward. You're likely familiar with most elements here, having worked on them extensively as you engage in courses and presentations throughout semesters. These are important, but some details need addressing. You will be dealing with assignments and tests. Of course, we also have a forum and we will discuss test creation. Creating the test should be easy. You've worked on them extensively, possibly more experienced than us as you handle courses and presentations. These matters, but details need addressing post-assignment and test creation. Issues like test access problems or student difficulties. Many details to discuss today, but creating the test shouldn't be a problem. You all are familiar with most of the elements or topics we have here, and you've worked on them a lot. You might be more experienced than us, since you are working on courses and classes and presenting. There are details that come up after creating the assignment, like when a student can't access the test, or a student enters the test and faces a problem. We will talk about these topics together. We will take it easy and clarify everything from the beginning. After creating the assignment and test, issues like students not accessing or facing problems with the test arise. We hope to discuss these details today in a simple way, clarifying everything for those new to the course or Blackboard system. Now, let me check if colleagues have joined us. They are still joining, so let's take 5 minutes to see if more can join. It's a simple topic. We're going to talk about these topics together, God willing, in a very simple way. We'll take it easy and clarify everything from the beginning, just in case there's someone among us who hasn't attended this course before, or is a new member of the university, or hasn't dealt with the Blackboard system. So we will clarify all these matters with God's permission. So I'm going to check with you all to see if the colleagues have joined or not. Of course, the colleagues are still in the process of joining. I just want to quickly clarify the issues related to joining the virtual class, because there are some colleagues who are trying to join. Let's take about 5 minutes to see if more colleagues can join us. It's a simple topic. The topic is very new to us. Why do we face issues when trying to enter or join the virtual class? And of course, you all encounter this a lot with the students. I mean, students definitely don't attend and then say, oh, we're facing a problem. I want to clarify regarding the Blackboard system. If there's a general issue, please pay attention to this point. If there's a general problem in the virtual class, yes, this is the general discussion, Dr. Ahmed. It's always when we get to the part about tests that students tend to bring this up. They often say, oh, there's a problem with the system. We can't access the test, or we can't enter the lecture in the virtual class. They always have these two issues, and they like to. If there's an issue with the Blackboard system, focus on this. If there's a problem in the virtual class, students often mention this during tests. They say, there's a problem with the system. We can't access tests or lectures. They always have these two issues. I want to clarify this so you understand the problem. Students focus on tests. They say, there's a problem with the system. We can't access tests or lectures. I want to clarify this so you understand the problem. Consider the system of probabilities. So they need to pause and reflect on it a bit. The whole idea I want to clarify for you is so that you can also understand the nature of the problem. Yes, indeed, so that you can understand. Is the student? Here's a very important point I want you to consider, which is the system of probabilities. We work in technical support. For those who work in technical support and who work with systems a lot, it should be that we work by thinking about everything. So any student, any professor, or anyone who comes to me saying they have a problem, I must first see that there is sincerity in what they are saying until proven otherwise. It doesn't mean that the opposite of sincerity is lying. It could be that they simply don't understand the problem they're describing. They might think there is an issue, but they might not fully grasp what the problem is. But some students might actually claim there's a problem, while there could be a student who says there's an issue but doesn't really understand the nature of the problem. They might think that this is indeed the problem for them. So we need to handle this carefully. When you are dealing with the student, you shouldn't assume that what they are saying is entirely accurate. They might not be able to convey the problem correctly. This is an important point. If you take what the student says in this regard, or if you take what the student says as if it were the gospel truth, you might not reach a conclusion. So we start by presenting the student with some questions, and when they respond, we take it one by one. When they respond to us, I really need to get to the root of the problem. The most important thing for us is to truly identify the real issue, not just take their word for it that this is the problem. We need to get to the correct problem. In general, to keep it brief for you all, the idea is simple. If there is, yes, if there is, and I want to give you a brief summary of the system that will also be joining us, God willing. If there's also a slide I can show you so that you can see it with me. Did you manage to log into Blackboard? Let's assume you have 40 students, and 30 or 35 of them were able to access the Blackboard system. Okay, and you were able to log into the Blackboard system. If 5 students told you there is a problem with Blackboard or that they can't log in, there is no issue with the system as we have 35 students who logged in, so there's no problem. But if all the students and all the members can't access the system, then there's certainly something wrong with the system. That should be clear and logical. So if a student says, I could not join the lecture, there's a problem with the system, I can't log into the lecture, that's a different story. But if you find that 38 students out of 40 were able to join the lecture and participate with you, then the virtual classrooms are working fine and the system is not the issue. But if all students are not able to enter the system, then something is wrong with the system. Okay, but here, largely, the student says, I did not enter the lecture. There is a problem with the system. I am not able to enter the lecture. While you find that, for example, 38 students out of 40 joined the lecture, then the virtual classrooms are working fine and the system is fine. So where's the problem? The problem lies with the student. Using a laptop is better than using a mobile phone. We need to clarify. Using a laptop is better than using a mobile phone for the system. However, since most students are using mobile phones, iPads, and tablets, if those are their only tools, they should use a laptop. For those using mobile phones, they must use the right web browsers. They should use suitable web browsers. So, where's the problem? The problem lies with the student. We need to clarify some very important points here, including that using a laptop is better than using a mobile phone. We have to make that clear, and these tips are for you and the students. Using a laptop is better than using a mobile phone to interact with the system. Now, since most students are using mobile phones, iPads, and tablets, if those are the only tools they have, then they need to make sure to use a laptop. For those using mobile phones, they must use the right web browsers. They need to use browsers or internet browsers that are suitable for accessing the system. So, since most students are using mobile phones, iPads, and tablets, and those are the only tools they have, in this case, they really need to use a laptop. And for those using mobile phones, they must use the right web browsers. They need to use browsers or internet browsers that are suitable for accessing the system.